The second contender on the Action Indie Pack is called Larva Mortus, a top-down horror shooter set in a twisted 19th century. The story stars a man who is recruited to an agency which specializes on exorcism of various supernatural evil creatures. He is soon forced to face a dark evil from ancient times as it plans to capture a powerful artifact of blah blah blah. Let's go get some big guns and shoot everything. Despite having an interesting setting, the story is overall absent, as the story bits you're given come in amazing artwork with boring context. Luckily, the story isn't where the game is at its best. You traverse through these randomly generated close-quartered locations, fighting off various hell demons with an incredibly satisfying arsenal. You may start off with a wimpy pistol and a sword, but as you progress through the game, you'll quickly get destructive weapons, such as a minigun, a cannon, a flamethrower, a Tesla rifle, and dynamites that create this cool slow-motion explosion. And you get a variety of demons to fight too. Almost all of them are fair, except the big skeleton warriors near the end, that give you an unfair disadvantage for if you don't have enough ammunition in your cannon. There's also different power-ups you can find. They give you small perks like speed boosts or temporary armor. The power-up system is a nice additional layer to the fun gameplay. Where the game is at its best is when you're fighting notorious bosses that really test your skills and wits. The game also has a nice art style and a really good soundtrack. Now, where the game is at its worst is several things. The game has a repetitive level design. All missions, whether that be main or side missions, consists of kill everything and defeat boss fights, or kill everything and destroy something. There will be moments when you're standing in front of a locked door, and in order to find the key, you have to do lots of backtracking. Every single new room you enter, you have to defeat every single enemy before you can move on. As much as I was enjoying the combat, I got tired out by the game's repetition, and wanted to skip the side missions altogether, considering they're not very different from the main ones. But in order to unlock some of the main missions, you need to achieve a certain level. This game likes to think it's an RPG, but I digress. The only RPG-ish element that's even in this game is the leveling system. But it really means nothing other than a requirement to progress through the main story. And you level up by, you guessed it, killing demons. And you can even level up faster by picking up these collectible trophies, which are just pretty much an XP boost and something to share with your friends. Now, I would forgive repetition in video games, as long as they are still incredibly refreshing. That doesn't come to be the case with Larva Mortus, as you don't really feel like you're taking on a new challenge, except for half of the main story missions. Besides the giant skeleton warrior that I mentioned, there are other difficulty spikes I've encountered. Enemies trapping me in a corner until I die, or death traps that happen out of nowhere. These instances aren't very often, but they're still irritating. The game itself is not very long, in fact, clocking around 4 hours. Which isn't bad for its $5 price tag. Finally, I must turn to the presentation. While the music and cel-shaded art is quite glorious, can't believe I said glorious, the empty feeling, randomly generated dungeon crawler-like levels are much to be desired. I must also address this game's intended theme. This game claims to be scary, but there's really nothing scary about it. Sometimes you'll be fighting in the dark or in mist, and you'll get images of weird demons just randomly popping in your face for some reason, but they come off as weird rather than scary. Overall, Larva Mortus is a misfire. It's definitely an above-average game, with fun gameplay, intriguing setting, and a beautiful art and soundtrack, but it's hammered by tedious repetition, an uninteresting story, and contradicting horror theme, all of which prevent what could have been a great game. You can definitely get some enjoyment out of it, and its $5 price tag isn't so bad. Otherwise, look elsewhere or wait for its sales. Not bad for a new indie developer's second game, but not great either. Larva Mortus gets a 6 out of 10. Boy, those images were really weird. I mean, they were just so trippy. Yeah.